doesn't matter how fucking good the product is if nobody is buying it on the front end. If nobody is there in the pipeline to buy it, it doesn't even matter how good your sales process is. And I think that so much of this business fear and fragility comes down to the fact that most businesses, like I'm going to go on a ballpark and say like 90% of businesses don't have a solid enough marketing system that they can rely on to predictably bring in new clients. And I think that when you truly solve that problem, you stop having to worry about it.
The problem I've seen when professional services try to run ads is they're like, yo, I do all this shit. And Meta specifically loves specificity. So the more specific you are in the ad, the more specific you are in the copy, the more specific you are in the creative, the more likely it is to find the person. Welcome to the Success School podcast. Today we have a Q&A episode where we're answering 5 questions that you guys have submitted from Instagram stories when we put up polls, inside our community, emails, basically anywhere that you can ask us questions. We collate these questions and talk about them live on air. Steph, how are you feeling?
I'm excited. We're doing a bit of a different episode today because this is a Q&A, but it's a Q&A on questions that we haven't really answered in niches that we haven't really spoken about before, and that's professional services. So we have today real questions from law firms, from medical clinics, from all sorts of professional services. So if you're in any of those professional services places, I think this episode is going to be super helpful for you. And if you're not, also super interesting. I think things apply across the board anyway.
They apply across the board. We get this quite often and people are like, hey, can you help this weird, strange niche business? And it's like, yes, all businesses have the same marketing issues. Essentially, they don't run marketing. So yes, we can help with that.
It's interesting.
Yes, we can run ads for anything.
Everyone thinks that they're a special little butterfly, which makes sense. I understand. And sometimes you do need special butterfly help, right? Like, for example, we're not mortgage broking business coaches, right? So I don't know how to help you run your mortgage broking business, but can I get you fully booked with clients? Absolutely, right? Yeah. And so there's a difference between, I think, where we plug in to help people as like the marketing front end. Like, dude, that is our thing up and down all day long. But like you running, like if you're a CFO, I can't tell you how to be a CFO. Like I'm not in the back end of your books, but I can definitely get you all the clients you need for sure.
Speaking of, guys, if you want to get fully booked and have your service business, whatever, coaching business, packed with clients that you love to work with, jump on our website, book a scale session. Our team would love to show you through how that would actually look and how we would help you do that. So go to startsuccessschool.com to check that out. I'll get into our personal update. We're actually flying back to Perth to see family for 4 days. I kind of got mixed feelings about it. I'm pretty excited for a holiday, believe it or not, from a holiday destination. But also, I'm not pumped to go back to Australia to fight someone for petrol and toilet paper, which is what I hear is going on at the moment. But no, seriously, it's quite funny living on a tropical island because, you know, before we moved here, people were like, yo, it's super islandy out there. And I'm like, I didn't really know what islandy meant, but now I know what islandy means. There's actually not too many amenities. There's not too much going on. Like you do miss how things do work in cities. You know, things do work well. You went to Bangkok last week and you were like, yeah, it's just way different. Like there's just so much shit going on. Out here in Koh Samui, it's basically like villas and dirt roads and a couple of restaurants. And that's fine. Like that's how we like to live. But I've really got mixed messages about hitting the big smoke again.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like one of those things where living an island life is so awesome. It's interesting, like, the things that you just don't know what you don't know until you move to a location, right? Like the amenities we miss. Tim and I, if we're having a rough day or week, we like to buy stuff. It's what makes us such good marketers.
Yeah.
We definitely love to partake in some retail therapy. And retail therapy is very scarce on this island.
Yeah,
so
you can't buy anything.
We went out yesterday afternoon to some retail therapy and You bought a pair of sunglasses and we accidentally bought the world's most expensive cherries.
Yeah.
And
Steph doesn't look at pricing or maybe she can't work out the exchange rate, but tell us how much these cherries were.
So this is giving my personal update because I didn't actually have one prepared. So yesterday, I just assume that everything in Thailand is cheap, okay? That's
Wrong assumption. Don't assume anything's cheap.
I assume that everything here is basically on average, like more than on average. I would say like 70% of the time, it works every time, but 70% of the time, everything is about a quarter of the price, right? Like it's so much cheaper here, okay? There are a handful of outliers, like apparently getting your nails done and Botox is like the same price. But everything else, usually, to my experience so far, especially mostly food, except for if you go to really nice restaurants, is a hell of a lot cheaper. So yesterday we were out walking around and since we have been here, have started getting really into eating cherries. Cherries were abundantly available. And then a couple of weeks ago, I noticed when I went to order them from the shops that they weren't available anymore. I thought, oh, they must be going out of season. Anyway, we went to the shops yesterday and I saw cherries and I was like, ooh, exciting. We love cherries. Let's eat some cherries again. And I put them in my basket and then we went up to the checkout and I was just like yapping away to Tim about absolute nonsense. And just as I went to tap my card, Tim goes, did you see how much those cherries were? And I said, no. And you said, babe, I'm pretty sure that order just came to like $150 and we bought like 3 things. And we bought cherries, some German sausages, and I think that was like literally all we bought. Like it was basically nothing. Right?
So it was 2,000 baht. It was $100, but the cherries were actually 75.
The cherries were
Australian
$75
for a punnet of cherries.
Well, it's for a kilo of cherries.
Yeah,
but previously, I think
I've got gold cheaper than that per kilo.
Oh my God. So like last night we had cherries and I can tell you what, every mouthful was like, and do you know what? The strawberries were like a tenth of the price and they were actually better, weren't they? The strawberries tasted better. So anyway, don't just assume everything's going to be cheap.
Bloody Iran this, Israel that, Trump's everywhere. It's just driving up the
price of
everything.
Cherries, dude.
I know in Australia they're having proper aneurysms about the price of things, but so we can't really complain.
To be fair, we had that here as well.
Yeah, we did over this. So first question from Natalie W. She's a fractional CFO, which is a chief financial officer. Like it's a fancy accountant, okay, from Adelaide. So they just do cool number shit.
She will hate that.
Yeah,
she will hate that you've just called her that. But yes, okay, cool.
Fancy accountant, just for everyone out there that's not in the scene, but that's essentially what they do with numbers. Every time I get busy with clients, I stop marketing. Then when the engagement finishes, I have to start again from zero. I don't have time to fix it when I'm fully booked, and I don't have money to fix it when I'm not. That's a real catch-22. How do you break out of that cycle, Steph?
Okay. Look, I think that honestly, most service businesses, most consultants work like this, okay? So she's a CFO. The same thing would apply, honestly, across most service businesses, but definitely across all consulting businesses. So if you're a brand consultant, if you're a leadership consultant, you do a heap of marketing activities, you get a ton of work, then you get busy with your work, and you get so busy with your work, you think, oh, I don't have time to take on any more clients, so I'm going to stop marketing. So you stop marketing, and then those clients eventually drop off, and then it's usually months. It's usually months that this cycle goes for. So you market heaps, then you assign clients. A client engagement could last 3 to 6 months, and then you've forgotten how you got those clients in the first place because you haven't bloody marketed for 6 months. And so then you think you don't know the answers, you panic again, you're constantly this up and down cycle, and it's terrible. It's not a fun cycle to be part of. So what you really need to turn on is just some base level marketing to stay front of mind and stay consistent. Now, the best thing you can do if you're in any service-based industry, if you're in any kind of consulting and even coaching businesses, is to build a wait list. You want to have a wait list of people so that let's say you get fully booked and you no longer have capacity, okay? What you want now is choice, okay? You want choice to be able to bring on another team member and take on more clients, or you want choice to be able to backfill shit clients with new clients, right? Because we all take on clients that we know that we shouldn't take on. Every single one of you listening to this episode right now has a client in their business that they would really rather not work with ever again, okay? And we understand that. Everybody goes through this. And so what you want is a backfill of clients, and that's where a waitlist comes in so handy. But most people just don't even start a waitlist. They just stop marketing and then do nothing and then panic again, and it's just this constant cycle.
Yeah, I've got a bit of a fix for you, Nat. So what you want to do here is just commit $50 a day to ads. If you don't have $50 a day, you're a CFO, increase your prices to make that extra $50 and just have a lead magnet ad running, building an email list. Then every time you have an opening, you can just shoot out some emails and be like, yo, got an opening. Who wants it? Here's a special offer. Here's a special deal. But something that's running 24/7 on automation is fantastic. I know social media is not absolutely popping for financial services. Like no one's like following their accountant besides, Jacob Fammy.
We do know Jacob. He does it really well.
He does great content.
And there's that mortgage broking guy.
Yeah. There's a few people that do it really well, but it's quite a boring industry. It's very hard to make great social media content for. So I'd be running like some kind of lead magnet calculator download, $50 a day, building an email list. For those type of things, you can get $2 leads, $3 leads. You can, whatever niche you want to go after. It's really simple. It's really easy to do. There's a guy, I forgot his last name. His name is Cody. It's this American guy. He runs this lead magnet strategy. He's built a 7-figure business, and his entire model was running $1 per lead ads, spending $3,000 a month, and he would just build this massive email list of like multi-hundreds of thousands of people because he's been doing it so long. Anytime he gets an opening, he just shoots out an email and he's like, yo, anyone want this spot? And people like lap it up.
Yeah. And this then plays into the supply and demand principles, right? Where you always want to have less supply than you do have demand, okay? And most businesses, when we look at them, they have a demand issue, not a supply issue.
Yeah.
So you never want to fall in that case. So what we mean by supply and demand is the resource that you have, the service that you have, you want to have more demand for it than you have ability to service. When you have that, what that allows you to do in this guy's case is he can open up a spot. He can have 50 people who want it, and then he can continue to increase his prices until he gets to the point where like someone is going to pay it, like someone, because they really, really want it, right? But you can't increase your prices. You can, but it's hard to increase your prices. It's hard to have the confidence to increase your prices if you don't have demand, right? And so the best thing you can do is constantly run ads, constantly. If you're looking $50 a day, what is that per week? That's like
$1,500 a month.
Yeah, $1,500 a month. Like $1,500 a month towards your marketing on an ad that's always on, that you don't really have to touch, is a worthwhile investment to make sure that when your next $6,000 or $10,000 per month client falls off, that you can immediately backfill them, right? Like it's immediate. And not only that, but if you decided to hire another CFO into your business, you could backfill them instantly too, and then double your revenue, double your profits, all that sort of stuff. So it just feels like a no-brainer to me.
All that good stuff.
If your business feels like it's growing, but you also feel like you're one bad month away from stressing the hell out, then this is worth 30 seconds. At Success School, we have helped over 1,000 service businesses to install a system that brings in 10 to 20 new clients every single month without relying on referrals. And we're so confident that it works that we offer a 30-day love it or leave it guarantee. So if you join and you don't love it, you can leave in the first 30 days, no questions asked. So go ahead and book a free scale session at startsuccessschool.com, and our team will review your business and hand you a roadmap to start signing new clients as soon as next week and dominating your market by the end of next month. All right, Tom B. Tom owns, another financial services. He owns an accounting firm in Brisbane. Okay. He has said, I'm doing solid revenue, but it feels fragile. I've got the same handful of clients I've had for years, and if one of them left, it would hurt badly. I know I look successful from the outside, my friends keep telling me, but I know how shaky it actually is. So how do you build something more solid without blowing everything up? Ooh, interesting.
So I think with this question, you need to probably frame it like you might need a two steps back, one step forward type situation. So if things are going well, but it's a little bit shaky, you're doing all the delivery, which it sounds like you are, you've got a small practice, you need to palm off some of the delivery to someone else. There could be like a junior accountant or someone else in the firm to free you up to take on marketing related activities. That can be networking, that can be email, that can be ads, that can be content, that can be whatever it is, but you're going to have to commit the time to skill building here. Mm-hmm. That's why we say to never outsource your marketing to an agency, because you're just going to get wrecked because you'll get handed off to a junior account manager that's handling 50 other accounts. B, they won't really know your business as well, which is a bit of an issue. But the answer to this one, Tom, is, you might need to commit some of the money that you're making, the revenue or the profit, into a hire so that can free you up so you can grow your business. Mm-hmm. Business is all about just mitigating risks, really, mm-hmm. and just who has the biggest profile for risk and taking risks. Anything I missed?
It's perfect. The only other thing I would add, Tom, is that you spoke about the fact that if one client would leave, that you would get hurt badly. So it sounds a little bit like you have probably got, like, similar to what you've just said, is like it's a lot reliant on you. If one client, you're only able to take on a handful of clients, those clients are very high ticket. And so similar to what we said just previously to Natalie, was that you always want to make sure that you do have some kind of pipeline. And it does sound like you currently don't. And I think, like, when we look at this, just to answer this as like a kind of a broad response to this question is like, at what point does a business go from feeling fragile to solid, right? And I think that it goes from fragile to solid when you are confident that there's enough demand for your service. Like, I really believe it. Like, there have been times in business when we have been so sure about we are still so sure about our product, about what we sell, right? About successful. We know it's phenomenal. We know our clients getting the same results. We know they make back their investment in their first 90 days. Like, we know all these things to be true. We're 100% certain on it. Yeah. It doesn't matter how fucking good the product is if nobody is buying it on the front end.
Yeah.
If nobody is there in the pipeline to buy it. It doesn't even matter how good your sales process is if there's not enough demand on the front end. And I think that so much of this business fear and fragility comes down to the fact that most businesses, like, I'm going to go on a ballpark and say like 90% of businesses don't have a solid enough marketing system that they can rely on to predictably bring in new clients. And I think that when you truly solve that problem, you don't ever have to, you stop having to worry about it.
Yeah, you stop having to worry about it. All right, so we got Mark T, law firm from Brisbane, commercial law. I know nothing about law, but I do know a lot about marketing and growing a business. But he says, I tried running meta ads last year, spent around $3,000, got nothing. A mate of mine swears by it, but he's in a different industry. I really can't see how ads would work for a law firm. How do I even know this is relevant for us?
We spoke about this a couple of episodes ago. We have yet to find an industry that we can't run ads for.
Yeah.
And it is tricky. Like, there are some industries where it's really difficult. Like, recently we've been looking at real estate as an example. And if you're a real estate, not agent, but agency, and you're wanting to, get in a type of lead, you do need to have really specific marketing on the front end. And so the same thing would apply to law firms. Like, ultimately, it's the 80-20 rule here. It's the Pareto principle. 20% of what you do, Mark, probably makes you 80% of your income. Now, we have worked with a couple of lawyers in the past. What they found was that when they were doing their more complex law offerings, what was happening was that they couldn't constantly find lawyers to bring into the business as hires because it was so complex, right? And so as they were trying to scale up their business, they were like trying to scale up. Yes, these things brought in the most income, but they were also the hardest to hire for, the hardest to deliver on. They took the longest amount of time. And so we had a lawyer, her name's Desley, and she actually switched to just wills and estates. And the reason she went to just wills and estates is because pretty much any lawyer can do them. It was 20% of their income, but it was actually the most scalable thing that they could do. And so when she went all in and they stopped being kind of like an everything for everyone, complex law, we do everything sort of marketing, and they went just into wills and estates, the business blew up because she was marketing specifically to types of people on the internet that would be interested in investing in wills and estates. So, you've got to think like older people, or you've just had your first child or whatever, and people who are going to be more interested in that. And so when we went down that route, we got really clear on who are you trying to service? What service do you want to run that's actually going to make you the most money and be the most scalable for your law firm? And then we want to dial in marketing around that to that one avatar. But if you're just advertising like, hey, we're lawyers and we just do law stuff on the internet, it's not going to hit because it's not specific enough.
Yeah, I just want to really hit that point home here. So the question is, what does an ad funnel actually look like for a law firm or professional services? So I'd imagine these people can do just about anything. You said Desley does wills and estates, but lawyers have specialties. But the problem I've seen when professional services try to run ads is they're like, yo, I do all this shit. And Meta specifically loves specificity. So the more specific you are in the ad, the more specific you are in the copy, the more specific you are in the creative, the more likely it is to find the person. You can't just, it's like going out there with a shotgun, being like trying to hit a plane from a million miles away. It's just too inaccurate. It's too spread. You need like laser guided missile Tomahawk coming off the USS Abraham Lincoln out there that's just going to like nail the target. That's the difference here, is like you want specifically like one offer, one type of person, and specific copy for that to get into them.
So, but the answer, just to be really clear, Mark, is that of course ads will work for you. Yep. Of course they will. I don't know if you've ever been to America, Mark, but lawyers love to advertise.
Oh, we do like, I do like LA. Steph's not so much of a fan of LA, but they got these billboards. Basically, you can advertise anything in America, and they've got all these lawyers, and just the huge billboard. I'm talking like 50 meters. They feel 50 meters. They're so big, and it just says "accidentes," which is like accident in Spanish.
They're about every 2 kilometers along the main like freeways and highways in LA.
Yeah.
Like, and everyone is a different lawyer. It's just in different languages. Like if you're Spanish, you're calling the accidentes guys. But if you're like a corporate suit wearer, you're going to call like the corporate suit guy. And then you have like the budget lawyer.
Yeah.
Dude, it is so funny. But it's only lawyers. The whole highway. It's so funny.
So just on that note, like you could just do like injury claims or whatever, like law for that. Submit a form. You know, your PA or whoever gives them a call and books them in for a consultation.
Clearly, we know nothing about lawyer stuff, but whatever it is that you want to go in on it and then market that specific thing. All right. Kylie R has an injectable clinic in Perth. Okay, I've probably been there. She says, some months my nurses are fully booked and other months, 2 of them barely have anything to do. It makes it really hard to plan. I'm worried about not being able to keep them, and I feel like I'm constantly scrambling. Is there a way to fix this without just hoping that our clients refer people to come in?
Yeah, we've got a couple of methods here, Kylie, for this. So first one is just IG organic. Every kind of cosmetic studio absolutely cleans up with this, and you guys are all artistic and creative, and you guys all look great, and you know there's a lot to it. So you guys can really clean up on that. I'd be posting every day. I'd be training your staff on how to do it. So if they're quiet, I'd be getting them to do it. Secondly, it's just some kind of really basic ad funnel that you could be running there. So lead magnet, download, offer, takeaway, anything like that is fantastic. Third, SEO is still actually a thing at the moment. So you can look into an app called Claude Code, and basically that can run SEO and build you blogs, and you can rank in local search traffic as well. The other thing I always used to clean up with, and this is a bit of pro tip for local businesses, is Google My Business and getting reviews. So when I owned my gym, Helix Gym, we were the highest rated gym in Australia in terms of total reviews. And you think about this was in middle of nowhere, bumfuck Perth. And we were the highest rated gym in Australia because I just pushed the referrals so hard and I pushed the reviews so hard. And obviously I would never incentivize someone to write a review for me because that's illegal. But, you know, if you ever went down that route, that's a really good way that, you know, potentially you could get people to leave you great reviews. And then from there, you should have a steady stream. But what we found is people that have this kind of problem don't really have a full marketing ecosystem. So it's more than just organic. It's more than just referrals. It's more than just text campaigns to whoever you're trying to target. It's more than just emails. You need to have it working in a system together. And that is the key. If you want longevity in business, you have to have a marketing system that all works together.
Kylie, I know that you are kneecapped by APRA, the Australian Medical Marketing Laws, okay? And I know that it's not just as easy as running an ads funnel. And something that we've done in the past for clients similar to you is that we've wanted high-end like women, so people who have the money to be able to spend on your more expensive services. We market them with non-invasive skin solutions on Facebook ads. We call those leads and then we invite them in, and then obviously we do consults, and then we find out if they're open to doing more injectable stuff or what kind of, and you know, obviously then using your sales process to sell them into and upsell them into more of the services they need. And so I think a lot of the times when you are kneecapped, I know that a lot of you are kneecapped when it comes to these sorts of things. There are ways around that with running ads. And there are lots of ways, like there are just so many cool strategies that you can do. Like your clients love coming to you. I can guarantee it. I love going to my injectable clinic. I love going to, you know, shout out to Love Beauty Skin Clinic. They always used to look after our skin. And like, we really enjoyed the process. So they made it so fun. It was really enjoyable. They were so knowledgeable. If they'd have asked us to leave reviews or tag them on social media or anything, we just would have done it because they were so awesome. And so don't hesitate to like ask your clients as well. Like I think that a lot of people just don't ask enough.
I'm a big fan of injectables just at home. So moving into question 5, Chris P, he hasn't left the type of business he's in, but he says he's in Perth. He said, I know I need to sort out my marketing, but every time I sit down, I don't really know where to start. There's so much information out there. Half of it contradicts the other half. If you could tell someone like me exactly where to focus on, where would it be? Let me start this one off.
Just a quick break. If you want to add 10 to 20 new clients to your business every single month, then this is for you. At Success School, we help business owners just like you install a predictable pipeline that keeps you fully booked all of the time. And we have a 30-day love it or leave it guarantee, which means that if you join and you don't love it, you can leave in the first 30 days, no questions asked. We're offering free scale sessions where our team will show you exactly how to install this system into your business so that you can build the pipeline for yourself. Click the link below or head to startsuccessschool.com and book yours now. What do you have to lose?
So always when you start a marketing process, you want to start with an avatar sheet. So ideal client information, psychographics, demographics. You want to have their pain points specifically. What we do recommend here is interview some great clients of yours. So you want to ask them like why they signed up with you, what was the problem they came with, how have they found the service, what has been most value. And then you just want to build a bit of a revolving document. I think this is the criminal mistake that most people make in marketing is they don't do any of the groundwork and then they just go start making noise on the internet and it sucks. So you want to have the groundwork from there. Once you are on the path there, Chris, you really just want to find one person to listen to. If you've got too many chefs in the kitchen, shit's not going to get done. So if you want to find like a trusted mentor or a guide or someone that knows marketing specifically for service businesses, I'm assuming if this came through on this form, what next?
I'd say and just on the mentor thing, I want to be really clear, we believe that you can have multiple mentors at once. I think because we have multiple mentors pretty much all the time.
Yeah.
I think it's finding those specifics. If let's say if you're an accounting firm, like I said, we're not the people to help you build out your accounting service. Okay, I don't know what bloody software you should use. I don't know. That's not my cup of tea. All right. Yeah. But what we can do is we can make sure that we get you the highest quality leads through the door that are the perfect fit for your accounting firm, right? And so I think it's really important that if you're looking for marketing help, you find someone who specifically is great at marketing, is a marketing expert. And a lot of the time, I think that mistake that people make in finding that expert is they find, I see this is a really big, a really big con. They find someone who specializes in that industry, right? So let me give you an example. Using the accounting firm again, they find a marketing coach that specializes in accounting practices. And the problem with that, I know that sounds great, but the problem with that is that what you're going to get is just the same shit. You're going to get, all of you are going to be using the same playbook. All of you are going to be getting the same generic advice on the internet. And I think that there's so much to be learned from, we give our clients strategies that, in fitness, as an example, that lawyers would use and be like, this works really well. You should try this over here. Because marketing is marketing. Getting leads is getting leads. It's making noise on the internet for a specific type of avatar. Now, the type of avatar that the lawyer wants can also be in the market for a fitness offer. And so when you cross-pollinate like that, you actually get unique ideas, your ads stand out, and everything starts to work. So when you are looking for help, make sure you're getting help from people who aren't just in your niche.
So there's really 3 ways to get help. So you've got the DIY route, which you can watch YouTube, you can buy a course, you can do any of that stuff. And then eventually you will learn marketing. The problem with that, it takes forever and, you need to learn the skills. The second way is done with you. So you could hire a coach and they could help you on the process with it, or you could hire a mentor or whatever it is. And the third way is done for you, which is agency. Also, like I said before, the problem with agencies, a good agency is going to be $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 a month. Then you're going to have to run that for quite a long time. Usually the first couple of months, you don't really see a ton of results. And then you might get palmed off to a junior account manager. So the agency route is pretty risky, and it's basically you're paying for speed here. So typically the more you pay, the faster result you get. We specialize in doing the done with you approach because, we feel like people need to learn the skills of marketing. I think it's fundamental that every founder or anyone that's in business has the skill of marketing, because even when you go to hire an agency, you need to know what the hell they're doing. Otherwise, you're just going to get wrecked.
The number one problem in any business ever, whether you're Amazon, whether you're Apple, whether you're, Success School, you own a law firm, it doesn't matter. The number one problem in business is client acquisition, is getting new clients through the door. That's the number one problem. So if you learn the skill of how to never have to worry about where a client comes from again, you will, what's the saying? If you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. But if you teach a man to fish, he eats for life. And so we're really big believers in you actually learning. But to your point, Chris P, I would say that the other thing that's really important is when you do decide to go all in on learning the skill of marketing, it's not about doing everything. You don't have to do TikTok and this and that and LinkedIn and da-da-da and da-da-da. You should just do one thing really well. And I like to use the analogy here of if you go to Italy and you eat a bruschetta in Italy, it will be the most incredible fresh bread with the most incredible fresh tomatoes and some salt. And that's practically it. And you will take a bite of that bruschetta and you'll be like, this is the most divine thing. That was the thing we always noticed.
Wet your pants.
How simple the food is, how simple oftentimes it's just pasta with olive oil. How do they do something so simple but so well? It's because there's so few ingredients and there's so few things to focus on that it works perfectly. And I think that so many businesses, they overdo it, right? They try and do too much. They make it too complicated, and then they don't do anything well. And I think that if you're wanting to get started, find one person, listen to their advice, and make it simple.
All right, guys, if you got some value from that episode, please hit the subscribe button if you're new around here. Otherwise, leave us a review. That would be fantastic. If you got all the way to the end and you're like, all right, cool, I need the help, I'm interested in done with you with Successful, go to startsuccessful.com, book in a free scale session. We'll look at your numbers. We'll look at your offer. We'll look at your marketing. We'll tell you exactly where to focus on. If we're a good fit, fantastic. If we're not a good fit, that's okay too. We'll tell you where to go, and we'll see you guys next Monday.
It was great to hang out. See you next week.
That's it for today, guys. Thanks for listening. We appreciate every single one of you guys for listening to each episode. And on that note, I want to ask you a favor. If you got some value from this episode and you're new around here, hit that subscribe button on whatever platform you're on. Also, share it with a friend. That's how we grow around here. See you next week.